This tiny kitten was left to die in the cold rain, alone, starving, with no hope of survival. But what happened in the next 48 hours, nobody could have predicted. This is the story of the most incredible cat transformation you'll ever see. It was a Tuesday evening when Sarah heard the faint cries coming from behind the dumpster. At first, she thought it was just the wind, but something told her to look closer. There, huddled between two trash bags, was the smallest kitten she had ever seen. His orange fur was matted with dirt and rain. His ribs were visible through his thin coat. He couldn't have been more than 4 weeks old. Sarah knew she had to act fast. Hypothermia setting in. The kitten's body temperature was dangerously low. She wrapped him in her jacket and rushed home, not knowing if he would even survive the night. The first night was critical. Sarah created a makeshift incubator using heating pads and blankets. She fed him kitten formula every 2 hours through a tiny syringe. His name would be Simba, because even in his weakest moment, she saw a fighter. But Simba wasn't responding. His eyes remained closed. His breathing was shallow. Sarah stayed awake the entire night, monitoring every breath, every tiny movement. At 3 a.m., something changed. Simba let out a small meow. It was weak, barely audible, but it was there. For the first time, he opened his eyes and looked directly at Sarah. That's when she knew he was going to fight. The first week was a roller coaster. Simba would take 2 steps forward, then 1 step back. On day 3, he refused to eat. Sarah had to force feed him every hour just to keep him alive. By day 5, his weight had dropped even more. The vet said his chances were less than 50%. He had a severe respiratory infection, intestinal parasites, and was severely malnourished. Most kittens in his condition don't make it. But Sarah refused to give up. She administered medications every 4 hours. She kept him warm. She talked to him constantly, telling him stories, singing songs, anything to keep him fighting. And then, on day 7, something miraculous happened. Simba stood up on his own for the first time. His legs were shaky, but he was standing. He took 1 tiny step, then another, and then he purred. Week 2 brought the transformation everyone hoped for. Simba's appetite returned with a vengeance. He went from eating 5 milliliters of formula to 20 milliliters in just 3 days. His eyes became brighter, his fur started to shine. But the most incredible change was his personality. The scared, silent kitten began to play. He discovered his first toy, a simple string, and it was like watching pure joy come to life. He pounced, he tumbled, he meowed with Sarah introduced him to solid food. His first taste of wet kitten food was priceless. He dove in face first, getting it all over his nose and whiskers. For a kitten who was starving just 2 weeks ago, this was paradise. By day 14, Simba had gained 200 grams. His ribs were no longer visible. His coat was soft and fluffy. The vet couldn't believe it was the same kitten. They called him the miracle cat. By week 4, Simba was a completely different cat. He explored every corner of Sarah's apartment. He climbed furniture, chased shadows, and discovered the joy of cardboard boxes. His favorite spot became the windowsill, where he would watch birds for hours. The kitten, who could barely lift his head, was now jumping 3 feet in the air trying to catch flies. Sarah introduced him to other pets. At first, Simba was nervous around the resident dog, Max. But within days, they became inseparable. Max became Simba's protector, his playmate, his best friend. Simba's personality blossomed. He was confident, curious, and incredibly affectionate. Every morning, he would wake Sarah up with gentle head bumps and purrs. The bond they formed was unbreakable. 3 months after that rainy night, Simba was unrecognizable. He had grown from 300 grams to over 2 kilograms. His orange coat was thick, shiny, and luxurious. His eyes sparkled with life and mischief. But the most incredible transformation wasn't physical. It was emotional. Simba went from a kitten who had given up on life to a cat who embraced every moment with joy and enthusiasm. He learned tricks. He came when called. He played fetch like a dog. He even learned to high-five for treats. The kitten who could barely breathe was now the most energetic, loving cat Sarah had ever known. Sarah often thought about that rainy night. What if she had walked past? What if she hadn't heard those tiny cries? Simba wouldn't just be a different cat. He wouldn't be alive at all.